Alright everybody, welcome to a review of the Jerry Hom Basilisk-r, the carbon fiber, not the G10 or blue twill. This is just the standard carbon fiber basilisk. I'm going to be doing a review on that, and I'm going to be mostly comparing it to my Blade Runner Systems Alpha Beast Infinity. These are my two flippers that I have in my collection right now. I've had others, and I'll be comparing to them slightly, but mostly the comparisons will be between these two knives, because I feel that these knives differ in a lot of ways that are noticeable and can be relatable to some with other knives. So yeah, let's get into it. First noticeable thing is that the Basilisk is a lot thicker than most battle songs that you'll see between Alpha Beast and carbon fiber Basilisk. This is a very noticeable difference, and that leads to my main issue with this knife, is that the Alpha Beast, I can do a lot of technical things, I can do a lot of rolls, I can do a lot of pivoting with the handles between my fingers. This knife makes it very difficult to do that because of the thickness. This knife really shines in an area where you just do a lot of chaplains, ladders, rollovers, things like that. So this round, I guess I could say, would go to the Alpha Beast. This is one thing I do not like about this. If you are a very heavy rollover chaplain kind of guy, this knife will surpass your expectations. It will do that seamlessly. You can do 0G ladders with this knife very easily. As long as you're careful of that wicked edge, this thing is very sharp. And that tip is a monster too. I've been trying my hardest not to chip the tip. Luckily that has not happened yet. So, like I said, I like to do a lot of technical things. Don't shine with this, do shine with this. But for the rollover and ladder portion, this knife takes the cake. This thing will not move out of your fingers whatsoever. This will stay on your hand trying to do any rollover type trick. It's very easy to use as long as you know what you're doing and you're very wary of that blade and don't hurt yourself, because that thing will get you, and it will get you deep. So, aerial wise, I can't say there's much difference for aerials, because both of these, this is more rear biased than the Alpha Beast. The Alpha Beast Infinity, I would say, is more neutral, if anything. So for aerial wise, I would actually say that's actually a close call. I wouldn't really know, honestly. Aerials would probably have to go to I'd say aerials would go to the Alpha Beast, in my opinion. Because of the neutral, it just goes exactly how you want it. This, a little unpredictable at times for me. Not necessarily unpredictable, but just not as good as the Alpha Beast. So the Alpha Beast would probably have to take this round as well for aerials. So next thing I want to get into is texture. This knife actually feels really great. I was worried about carbon fiber. I had never had a carbon fiber knife before, but this texture on this actually feels really great. I like this better than G10, honestly. It has the grip that you would expect from G10, along without the texture from G10, and it just feels a lot smoother in the hand compared to G10. And I just really like that. So I really like the texture on this knife. I'm always a fan of scales rather than solid titanium at times, although this is like my first solid titanium knife and I'm more than impressed with it. So I really like the scales on this. The handle pattern that he has is very comfortable. You know you're not going to slip off of this handle. It's very nice. The blade has 2 tank pins. I'm more of a fan of Zen pins, but Jerry Hom does a very good work. So I imagine these are not going to fall out at any time, and I expect that maybe with the warranty, if they do ever fall out, you can have them easily replaced by Hom himself. The latch, I'm not a big latch guy, but since I got this, I've been flipping it with the latch on, as well with my Alpha Beast, just to kind of get used to latches. And this latch is actually pretty nice. I like how he does it, this pin latch thing, where it's just a pin inside of the latch. It's pretty nice. And it has this groove back here where the pin just fits nicely in there. It's very secure, very tight. The latch is not going to come off on you. It does not have much of a bounce latch system like the Alpha Beast would have. Whereas you see this latch, if it comes in contact with the handle, it will just bounce up because of the angle that the latch is on. It's more like an arrow rather than just a straight T. So that latch is never going to get in the way. But this latch does have the opportunity to get in the way, and it does not bounce as well as the Alpha Beast. So, gonna have to give this round to the Alpha Beast. I think a bounce latch would have been very easy to do. It's very simple, but I do really like the look of the latch. I think it is a very nice. Oops. So, the latch is very nice. Hardware. It's got T8 hardware and T10 hardware, I believe, compared to the Alpha Beast, where it has these down here are T8s, but this is T6 for the latch. Everything on the handle is T8, and it has a dual screw design. Instead of, as you see on the Alpha Beast here, it would have the female sex bolt and then the screw. This just has screw on one side, screw on the other side, with a barrel in the middle. I don't actually like that. I find it to be very difficult to take apart, although this isn't a knife you're really meant to take apart. It would be nice to have that added convenience to be able to take it apart. So I know there's probably easy ways to take the screws out and stuff, but it's a little difficult. So doing vertical tricks with this knife is pretty easy. If you're going to do twirl ladders or chaplains, vertical chaplains, twirling, all of that is very easy. It feels very comfortable. It's not going to roll anywhere, just as if you're doing regular horizontal moves and zero-G moves. It's not really going to leave your hand in any way you don't want it to. So that is a very good quality about this knife. This is about 0.01 ounces or 0.1 ounces heavier than my Alpha Beast Infinity. This comes in at about 4.86, I believe, and this is like 4.73, if I'm not mistaken. And the added weight does feel a little bit nicer. It's more rear biased, like I said before. So it is very nice. It'll carry everything extremely well. He has some beefy tang pins on here, compared to the Alpha Beast's kind of petite ones, which some of you may like, some of you may not. It creates more distance between the handles, which some of you may or may not like for flipping. Personally, that doesn't matter to me. It does a little bit, but I mean, I've flipped a BB Barfly where it has, you know, the handle parts like this much away. So this isn't really that big a deal for me. One thing I don't like about the Basilisk is that it does not come with a pocket clip already on it. I am a big fan of pocket clips. That's one reason why I love the Infinity so much, and some other Alpha Beasts with pocket clips on them, because I just find that the motto clip on, latch off is very nice. But instead he does offer a pocket clip that you can buy separately for $14. I believe it's a titanium pocket clip, which is why it's pricey. Well, not necessarily pricey if you compare it to the knife, but 14 bucks for a pocket clip, that's an option. Now the latch is actually reversible on this knife compared to the Alpha Beast, which is not. You're always going to have the latch on one side of the knife, although you could just switch the handles around. I don't know if that exactly works though on the Alpha Beast. I have not tried it, because I'm not a Manila guy. I'm just a regular Batangas Balisong style. So the latch does have a separate screw here down at the bottom, but I believe you will need to take apart the whole handle just to get the latch off, which I'm too lazy to do. And I didn't really want to risk stripping any screws, so I just decided against it, ergo why I have the latches on. Overall, flipping wise, I'd give this knife about a quality wise, I'd give it a 10 out of 10, but flipping wise, I'd have to say stock as is 5 or 6 out of 10, and that's only because of my preferences. To somebody who will do a lot of rollovers and chaplains just all the time, that's all they do. If all you want to do is just sit there and chaplain and do rollovers like it's no tomorrow, then this is the knife for you. It could be a 10 out of 10 for you. But for me, the Alpha Beast ranks a little bit higher in the fact that it can do a little bit more technical stuff, a little bit better. It can do like pivoting motions, it fans better. It just does a lot of things better that I like to do compared to the Jerry Hahn Basilisk-r. So, yeah. Also, one thing to note on the Basilisk-r is that it's not necessarily a crowned spine, but it is more chamfered, so it's not going to be hurting you while flipping. It is a very comfortable blade. And the one main concern I have with this knife is that tip. It is a monster. You do not want to flip this over any hard surfaces. I'm even cautious about flipping it over carpet, because as we all know, underneath carpet is concrete, and this thing will go through carpet and the foam underneath carpet. I've taken apart enough carpet to know that there's just foam and it's concrete all underneath. So just be careful when flipping it if you don't want to chip that tip, especially if you plan on reselling it. Chipping a tip will marginally decrease the value that people are going to want to pay for it, unless it is a god tier flipper, such as you can still pay upwards of $300 for an Alpha Beast with a chip tip, but I don't know if I could say the same about a Basilisk. I don't quite know how long I'm going to be keeping this, since it does not fit my style of flipping very well. It just does things that occasionally I like to do very well, and I'm worried that this will become a knife that just sits in my box and I don't play with it at all, and that's exactly what I don't want to be doing anymore, because there's been points where I'm too scared to flip my knives and I miss out on the fun, and I'm really trying to get out of that. And if this isn't going to be a knife that I'm going to want to flip and actually have fun flipping, I don't quite know if I'm going to be keeping it. So, yeah. Overall, I had a question. There was a question on Facebook today in the Ballot Song page on which would be better, and I went the Alpha Beast because honestly, I feel like it is a better flipper for more than just a few different types of tricks. Where this really shines in a few different types of tricks, and this shines more overall in everything. So, yeah, that's basically my review of this Basilisk. It's a very, very nice knife, and I imagine it works wonders for EDC and a lot of people that want to do very heavily momentum-based routines. But for me, the Alpha Beast wins this, and that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely recommend picking one of these up to try. It's a very good knife to actually try and flip. It's very nice. It's a great piece of art that you can hold and work with. So I would recommend it. It just doesn't fit me. So that's been my review. Peace.